In my video last week, I looked at the top of the board favorites that could win the World Series, and I came up with the Houston Astros. This week, I scoured the odds over at North Star Bets to look for a middle-of-the-pack team that I think has a shot to win it all this year. I found one, and they're 30-1. Now, I do like teams in the 15 or 20-1 range too. The Blue Jays could be contenders if a couple of pitchers can return to form. The Phillies were in the World Series last year, falling just a little short to Houston. And Seattle has a well-rounded team that could make some noise too. But if you look a little further down the list, you'll see my middle-of-the-pack pick, the Cleveland Guardians. They're plus 3,000 after winning 92 games and their division last year. And they took the Yankees to a Game 5 of the ALDS. They're not being disrespected at this price, but it's definitely good value. First off, they play in the AL Central, and they're a class above the rest. The White Sox are in disarray and are also without slugger Jose Abreu. The Twins will be a little bit better than they were last season, especially if Byron Buxton can stay healthy. And I'm still expecting the Tigers and Royals to struggle. So Cleveland should finish atop their division for what would be the 5th time in the last 8 years. If they can win the division, they're obviously going to be in the playoffs, and once they're in, they have a few key elements that can help them win games. First, starting pitching matters most in the playoffs, and the Guardians have 2 aces in Shane Bieber and Tristan McKenzie. Bieber finished 7th in AL Cy Young voting in 2022, and McKenzie lowered his ERA from 4.95 in 2021 to 2.96 in 2022. Plus, they have a decent back half of the rotation too, in Cal Quantrill, Aaron Civale, and Zach Plesac. Their whole rotation are young, age 27 or younger, so their ceilings could be even higher entering their athletic primes. On top of good starters, you need good relievers in the playoffs. Well, the Guardians have that too. They finished the 2022 campaign with the 5th best bullpen ERA and had one of the best relievers in the majors. Emmanuel Clase finished the season the league leader with 42 saves and had a 0.73 whip. He was almost unhittable in 2022, a perfect weapon to close out games in the playoffs. The one thing I do worry about with Cleveland is their batting lineup, but I worried about that last year and they finished with the 10th best average and middle of the pack in runs and RBI. A lineup bolstered by Jose Ramirez, who was 1 homer shy of 30 homers and 20 steals to go along with his 126 RBI. I'm curious to see if the offense can take a step forward with young players like Steven Kwan and Andreas Jimenez building on their 2022 success. If so, then the Guardians could be hoisting the Commissioner's Trophy in 2023. That's my middle-of-the-road team for this year. Feel free to tell me yours in the comments or just tweet at me. For more markets on the upcoming Major League season, head on over to North Star Bets. They have win totals, end of the season awards, and more. I'll catch you next week.